years ago, I was sat right where you are today. And this moment that you are living right now was the catalyst that helped me find my purpose and ultimately gave me the confidence to share my story. I went to Bogota as a finance professional, incredibly humbled to be representing the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Scotland. And 2 years on, I can now use my position as an advocate for mental health. Well, why mental health? And I'm going to actually share a story with you that I've never actually shared widely before. From a very young age, I was surrounded by people suffering from depression, anxiety, mental ill health, and I could feel the effects it could have on a young person growing up, and I could feel the discontent, the loneliness. I just couldn't put it into those words. Have you ever felt really, really lonely? Well, I have, and sat alone in a bedroom in a small terraced house in Glasgow, I was suddenly thrust into a situation where I was bringing myself up alone effectively. And a dark shadow really did start to grow. And you could say that my average week wasn't really an average week. I mean, I'd be trying to fit in my homework around trying to do household chores, the ironing, and trying to work out how to use the oven. And there was no one just around to say, let's talk, let's have a conversation. So in early 2017, fast forward to then, I was leading strategy at Pladis, and Pladis is a global snacking business that owns the likes of McVitie's biscuits, or as many of you might call cookies, and they signed the Time to Change pledge, which commits employers to really review and reevaluate and change the way they deal with mental health in the workplace. And you can imagine I naturally gravitated towards the efforts of this pledge. And with the energy I got from One Young World, I thought, what an amazing opportunity I could put my hand up and offer to lead the program. And so we did. And our efforts internally really did start to move. And there was clearly a strong need. We grew the internal mental health and wellbeing ambassador network from 5 to over 120 of the most amazing leaders across the business. And we called the program Positive Minds, and people from across the business all started to share their own moving stories. And our team of volunteers, these most amazing leaders, we created this fully integrated awareness campaign. And what we're trying to do is to say, how do you truly create an environment where you can have those tough conversations in times of crisis and also promote positive mental fitness? And as our credibility grew, we then received the budget to provide mental health awareness for everyone. But it must be said, this was not easy. Convincing the global leadership team to put mental health on the agenda seemed like a stretch for any organisation. And we had our setbacks. We struggled to get buy-in. We had roadblocks, but the energy of those ambassadors, those leaders, we just kept finding another route to break down every barrier. And as we pieced it all together, we kept coming back to the power of conversations. And we're better to have a conversation than over a good old cup of English tea. And if there's one thing we're absolutely fanatical about here in the United Kingdom, that is tea and biscuits. So then it was born, Tea Talk and a Biscuit. In fact, a McVitie's biscuit, this biscuit right here, and it's not a shameless plug, I promise you that. So with the nation's favourite biscuit brand at our disposal, we created an initial tie-up with Mind, the leading UK mental health charity, and called the partnership Let's Talk. And within months, we'd reached over 60 million people across the UK. And Let's Talk, by being kind to your mind, with McVitie's in mind, was seen across transport networks across the UK, on billboards in people's homes, and the grocers really loved it, giving it prime space. And the Let's Talk's message was getting out there. But more importantly, the money raised funded 400 new champions in 8 Mind hubs, and also 20,000 face-to-face sessions.
So now at Marks & Spencer's, well, I'm trying it all again. But I stand here even more privileged to be a trustee of the UK Mental Health Foundation, the UK's leading charity for everybody's mental health, and an advisory board member for Mad World, Europe's largest summit for mental health. But I also stand here as that 13-year-old boy, and really representing all young people that have gone through quite similar challenging circumstances. Because life could have gone in a very different direction for me, and I feel very lucky and privileged to be able to stand here today. But I wish somebody right now might ask those young people if they're okay and if they want to talk. But you know what I've really learned in all of this is that every single person in this room has the power to change the world in some way. And it was just like the ambassadors at McVitie's who decided to be part of the change. And as you all follow your passion, the momentum will build and the doors will open. But do not take no for an answer, because when the first door slams in your face, which it will, there is always another route to get to where you want to get to. And it is about positive minds, folks. Positive minds.